Hello viewers, I'm here not with Z actually, and I'm in a mod called Magica. Don't get confused with the game, I never actually played it. It adds a complete spell system and more. But this may turn into a series where I read you some diaries or books from Magica. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Oh, and by the way, I have read this before. Silver's Diary, Day 1. As I begin to search for a way to use magic to prevent myself from aging, I have decided to record the discoveries of my research in my diary. I have not told the archmages any details behind my research yet. Oh, by the way, viewers, this takes place in a medieval magical time, and I don't intend to I have not told the archmages any details behind my research yet, and I don't intend to do anytime soon. But they may begin wondering where some of their supplies have gone. So I'm going to make sure to tell them I am taking some supplies for my own independent research project before things get hairy. I am currently using an old abandoned wooden house made out of teak for my research. I stumbled upon it one night 8 years ago as I was walking just outside the nearby forest. The slightly dusty atmosphere in the house does not help with the smell. Perhaps I will need to replace the smell with some flowers. One of the shingles of the slate roof fell off and shattered last night. Not ideal working conditions. Hopefully the plant life will be of some use. Silver's Diary, Day 3. After a few days of waiting, a letter has arrived. I quickly opened the letter and read it there on the spot. I've gotten approval to use the supplies from the Archmage Tower for my independent research. Unfortunately, I do not have nearly the amount of supplies necessary to carry out my research. For now, I have been supplementing the lack of supplies with wild plant life that I have been finding near the entrance to the forest. But the plant life I have found lacks all the properties necessary to my research. I need to get my hands on some novas to truly be able to afford all my research. However, the next shipment of them is not for many more days, and the amount of novas the mages will allow me to take a very few, so I'm going to have to make them count. Silver's Diary, Day 7. I've discovered a small area in the forest where blue orchids, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, are growing in abundance. This shall help with the supplies problem slightly, as well as elevate, I'm not sure if that's it, the amount of supplies I have to get from the mages. I also got a note from the archmages that they will be sending a mage to check to see how my research is going. The mage will be arriving in a few days. This may prove a problem, as I have not discovered anything new for them to fund my project. Oh, by the way, viewers, if you haven't noticed already, this has 190 pages, so prepare to sit back. Silver's Diary, Day 9. Today, the mage arrived and took a look around. He was wearing a dark blue hood that cast a shadow over his face, preventing anyone from seeing his facade. I'm not sure what that's either. His robes matched the hood in color except for the golden lining across the edges of the cloak. The only part of his body that was actually viewable was his tan-colored hat. I gave him some fresh herbal tea while I waited for him to take a look at my research. Towards the end of the inspection, he looked rather upset with me for some reason. Perhaps it was my lack of results that was the problem. When he finished his investigation, he left quietly without notice while I was continuing to study the properties of many different species of wild plant life. Since the investigation, and I have noticed that supplies I'm allowed to take have been fewer in number. Perhaps there is a shortage of ingredients. This is concerning due to the fact that the Archmages get to choose who gets what during this shortage. Today, much to my dissatisfaction, I got a letter from the Archmages that I have 14 days to produce the results, or else I will be shut down and will not get any more supplies from them. This is strange, as independent research projects usually are given more time than this. There must be an extreme shortage of ingredients for them. Even though I have many sources of wild plants growing in the forest that I have figured out how to cultivate, some ingredients I can only get from the tower, and without them it would be nearly impossible to continue my research. Silver's Diary, Day 17. My research has finally bore some fruit that may be useful with my search for a way to prevent aging. I have discovered that there is a material in the atmosphere that is similar to manna. However, in nature. However, it is different because as it holds the properties of life and existence. I have decided to name this material essence. Essence seems to be a form of flowing energy all around us. Perhaps I can find a way to gather this energy and use it for my purpose. Essence may also be able to help with my supplies problem. I have created a basic design for a prototype using materials that seem to gather high amounts of essence. The design will require a bit of room and time to build, so I have cleared out an area outside my house to build the device. Hopefully this device will prove to be of some use to my research, because in the end it will take up quite a bit of the materials I have left to use. I'm still working on a name for this device. I will make sure to write down the official name when I further discuss it, and the uses I discover for it. On another note, I've grown attached to the smell of blue orchids and have attempted to make a hair cleans. I'm not sure if I said that right. Solution with it to give my hair a similar smell. It seems to have worked very well. It makes it's silky too. Silver's Diary, Day 14. Today I finished the construction of the device using magical non-melting snow blocks and glass focuses to direct it towards the inside with some magic chalk. It is inscribed in a circle to allow the storage of essence. Due to the focusing nature of the glass, that reminds me of a magnifying glass, I have decided to call the device a light nexus. Unfortunately, the device does not collect high amounts of essence and holds very little of it within the inscription. Perhaps it can be further refined to hold more, but my research has proven that it does not produce enough essence to be a possible source of energy for me to prevent aging. However, it does provide a suitable way to further, I presume, study the properties of essence. I've submitted a paper about my findings to the Archmages in an attempt to increase my supplies, as tomorrow is my last possible day of getting supplies from them. I have to hope my research is good enough to get me these desperate supply. Silver's Diary, Day 27. I have gotten a letter back stating my discovery was was big and it has caused me to be promoted and have access to even more supplies than I had access to originally. This is wonderful news. Also, the shipment of novas will be arriving soon, so I may be able to order my research with the materials. I really needed, however, I will still be using many of the materials I found in the forest as they have other useful properties that I haven't discovered. An example of this is the blue orchid, which I have fallen in love with. Some of the plants have negative properties like a poisonous potato that people find in the potato gardens, but the plants with negative properties can still be used in my research. The light nexus I have has stopped gathering acid, so it seems to be full. I've begun to study it in an attempt to develop a new device for the purpose I need. Much to my surprise, I have received funds to build a better research lab and house, which I have chosen to be built near the blue orchid fields in the forest. I have also finally got my hands on some novas for my research. I've decided to try to grow some novas so I have a supply for later. I've noticed the novas seem to smell as nice as the orchids, so I've been keeping them separate from the rest of my materials. The light nexus seems to have regathered essence, and if any of it is removed, which is definitely good to know for further designs I may build based off this device. Further research will have to be performed to see if this holds any value in devices that gather essence in other ways than directly from the atmosphere. But I have not discovered any other sources of essence yet, so I can only have to assume it can only be gone from the atmosphere. It has been difficult, but I finally understand more about the nature of essence. It seems to maintain a form similar to how it formed. From this, it can be assumed that the essence in the atmosphere is actually an excess coming from somewhere. Further research will have to be done to figure out where else it can be found, but it does seem to be able to have something to do with life length in living creatures. Perhaps the amount of it determines how long the average person in the area lives and how young they look. This is just a theory. If this theory is true, building many light next time to be able to drastically improve lifespans. However, this does not help completely prevent aging. It is going to the right direction though, so it will be useful to further research anyway. If this theory is correct, it may lead to a way to prevent aging or in reverse. Only time will tell if this is correct. My new house has been halfway completed, so I've begun to move my belongings there. The new house will allow for more room for the research because the house was mainly built underground. The stairway down at the entrance will make it easy to expand as well without damaging the environment's plant life, which I have been using for my research. On another note, it seems the blue orchid solution I've been using is causing any body hair I had to fall out. It only seems to like hair on the top of the head. It makes me curious what effect it will have on others. However, I have no time to test this as I'm too busy furthering my research into finding a way to prevent aging. Other effects of the blue orchid solution will be noted due to my partial interest. However, currently I have no plans on disclosing how to make this solution. Silver's Diary, day 47. Oh, by the way, because I'm not skipping pages. It just skips days. It has been rather uneventful till now, as little progress has been made in understanding the uses of the essence. It seems it may be plausible that magic based is the machinery of the essence. However, due to the small storage quantity of the light nexus which concentrates the stuff, I do not know how feasible it would be currently. I will make sure to have a letter delivered to the Archmage is about this. Perhaps someone else will research more about this. Otherwise, essence may prove to be entirely useless at the current storage size and gathering speed. I must find another way to obtain essence. It seems very likely at this point that it can be tried outside of just the atmosphere. I have decided to try reading the discovery of mana to see if I can find any information that may pertain to helping me figure out how to get another source of essence. Silver's Diary, Day 53. I managed to get my hands on the books pertaining to the origin of mana. It was a little difficult because the books are rare and the mages like to keep any information regarding Magica's secret. I will begin reading these books immediately so I can return them to the tower, and I will make sure to note down any information that may pertain to my current research, so that helps me find another way to obtain essence in greater quantities and perhaps find a way to prevent overforce aging. Silver's Diary, Day 59. I finally found a lead in the origin of mana book that pertains to my research. Apparently, after the author discovered mana, the author found another lead was the source of mana by researching objects with a high affinity towards it. I will begin to research objects with high amounts of essence around it to see if I can find any new discoveries that help further my purpose. On another note, I have sensed that I am being watched by a powerful mage or mages, so I will leave it alone for a little while to see if anything happens. Perhaps I have figured out what my true role is. Mages can be considered a threat to my research. I don't want any of my secrets to be leaked out, and so I will have to deal with this problem if it persists longer than 7 days. In the meantime, my new lab has been completely finished and I am moving in soon. Silver's Diary, Day 66. I am finally completely moved into a new house and my research has been running smoothly with no interruptions. However, the mage is there since watching me with his I noticed I was absorbing their spell and they require all to this requin. But I don't know what that word is used. The spell, causing it to vanish today. Considering I was absorbing this spell for 7 days before this vanished, I did a good job. However, their reaction is rather disconcerting as they didn't want me to know they were there. I'm going to try to trace back the traces of this to see if I can figure out who it was or at least send them a voice message to imitate them into showing themselves. After this, I will deal with them properly. Appropriately. Silver's Diary, Day 67. Today, the twin Archmage sisters arrived at my door. Self and Nymph. The only 18-year-old Archmage is making them 2 years older than me. They are carrying some supplies that I really need for my research. I was excited. Because these supplies were difficult obtained for many people. It turns out they were the majors that were spying on me, and they came to apologize and wanted to know if they could help with what I was actually doing. This was consoling because it meant that someone knew what I was trying to accomplish. I told them that I would get back because I need some time to think. If I do decide to, my research will probably go much quicker and it won't be as lonely but I would have to set up guests due to the fact that they will be living here now. Perhaps I will accept their help. The beauty and age remind me that anyone can be a good mate. So it was a definite boost to my confidence. It reminded me of the past that I ran from. There was some belief in my life that beautiful people can be good at magic or anything other than sitting there and looking pretty. My family tried to reinforce that. My family tried reinforcing that idea, but I was stubborn. The materials, the twins have caused a slight increase in my research. Perhaps a new discovery will be right around the corner. Another note, the blue orchard solution seems to have also caused my skin to become smoother and softer, as well as begin to lose flaws. The solution seems too good to be true. I will continue to absorb any effects that cause Helpful's Diary, Day 71. I accepted their offer. This is going to drastically help improve my research. Plus, it's reassuring going to have 2 archmages helping me with my research. They brought more supplies along with their belongings when they arrived. I helped them get settled in and showed them around because I want to make sure to maintain eating. I don't know what that is. Little else happened today, but the light nexus seems to be getting more attention at the towers. One tower even replicating the design. We have also decided on doing an independent approach where we share any discoveries as to maximize research areas. Essence properties have proven to be able to be located elsewhere. With a little more research, it may be possible to find another source of essence soon. Selma's Diary, Day 75. A major discovery was made today. We have found a new source of essence. This new source was under our noses the entire time, quite literally. We discovered that essence can be found in objects because matter, when created, absorbs some essence into it. This dictates the length of its lifespan. Every single piece of an object contains essence. However, every piece contains a different amount of essence. This could possibly be honest, but device will have to be rebuilt. In order to assemble the essence from a material, we have to destroy the material. In order to accomplish this, we need to create a structural material that is high in essence, yet also capable of withstanding the pressure created during the process of removing the essence. Stone seems to be the best option right now. However, the design of the material will affect whether or not it will work. Luckily, we have discovered that it will need a different color of magic chalk to work. Sylph and Nymph are testing the properties of blue currently after trying red chalk. The red chalk has its own effect, but it does not hold its own according to the properties we are researching. We are uncertain about what happens with the blue chalk at this time. It will require further research. We have finished testing the blue chalk and have found it to be the best test for our current purposes. Nymph has decided to further research the strange red chalk. The way the two of them treat me sometimes makes me wonder if They consider me to be like their little sister or something. I had to go into town to attempt to get some stone materials to work with. However, my timid nature prevented me from getting all the materials I needed. I will have to return tomorrow to obtain the rest. I decided to call this race a nexus due to being heavily based upon the original light nexus. However, the device does not concentrate essence like the light nexus does. The device does not have a glass broken. It's a structure built to assemble essence from the atmosphere. We have a basic design based on stone, but we still have to research all of the correct types of stone before we can finish the design. This could be a little bit difficult, but hopefully it will not take too long to finish before we can build the nexus itself. Silver was the diary, day 79. Today we have discovered a little more behind the amount of essence found in different objects. Apparently it has to do with rare objects like diamonds have much more essence than items like gold or cobalt or stone, which are almost everywhere. This is probably due to the higher concentration of metal forming the item itself. Different types of metal have different values or concentrations. At least this is my theory behind it. After we build a working prototype of the Nexus, we have decided to publish knowledge about it in order to further the amount of materials we can obtain. Self and Nymph have told me that the material shortage is over and more research materials should become available. But we have decided to do this just in case another shortage occurs in the future. Self and Nymph have gained some interest in the Blue Orchid solution, so I will let them have some of it. Silver's Diary, day 83. The research has been going smoothly. We have decided on the best choice for this structure, but not the focuses. Stone bricks will be the choice we use for the structure, and we have begun to construct the Nexus in its own route. We have also begun gathering junk material and tools, and we have placed them into the room for testing in the future. Our current concern is the focus. Without the focus, we won't be able to finish building the Nexus. Silver's Diary, day 87. We have finished researching the different types of stones. Unfortunately, we had little in the way of results. The only type of stone that is left for us to try is chiseled stone. However, it is difficult to get a hold of vast quantities of it. Earth has placed an order for 4 of them in an attempt to get our prototype up and running. Nymph has decided to try studying chiseled stone in the tower with structure to make sure it's the type we need. We are fairly certain that it is the type we need, and if it proves to be a failure, we do not know what we should do next. Though the chiseled stone will still be invaluable because chiseled stone has many properties we can use, even if it turns out that we cannot use it for the Nexus focuses. On another note, we have decided to gather vast amounts of stone bricks for building more rooms in the huts, which continues to serve as our base of operations. We will also be using these stones to measure for essence. And the stones can act like a bake or in order to tell us the destiny of essence. We can then compare materials by using a stable amount of essence. There is 100 essence in stone. This number might be subject to future change as refining the amount of essence within an object becomes more complete, and time may also affect the amount of essence that is standard for specific materials. My novas have seemed to have grown. It was very difficult to grow these novas, which makes it unlikely that other novas will grow in the future. But at least now we have a source of novas in case of an event. These novas should spread naturally. This is very similar to a blue orchid in nature, so it makes me wonder if two species of plants are recently related. I currently do not have time to research this right now, but perhaps I will in the future. Silver's Diary, Day 87. Nymph has found what we were looking for, the chiseled X, making him the perfect choice. The order we place them will take some time. While we were waiting, we finished constructing the basis of the nexus. When the whole order arrives, we will be ready to add the focuses and see the first use of the nexus. Silver's Diary, Day 9. The bricks have finally arrived today. The moment we got them, we finished construction of the nexus and began to write down different observations from the device. We began to take measurements using some bricks. I've tried comparing the nexus to the light nexus. The nexus does not gather essence at all for the environment, so it can only get from objects thrown into it. We have discovered that the nexus works to almost anything and converted into essence. Unfortunately, there does not seem to be a way to retrieve any item thrown into the nexus, even by accident, which makes it very dangerous to carry valuables near a device at this time. In the future, we may find a way to get items out of essence. We have no interest in that right now, so we have decided to include it in our report in case someone else wants to find a way they can. According to our calculations, the device can hold a bit more than 30 times the amount the light nexus can. And this is good, as it definitely holds the amount of essence needed for a purpose. The forest life seems to be unaffected by the increase in essence in the area, so it makes me wonder whether or not my previous theory of essence affecting life and age is true. I began to come up with a new theory that may be true. I will begin working on this theory in the future, if so needed. Self has begun to express a disinterest in leaving, which makes me wonder if Self and Nymph will be staying when we have finished our research. We have decided to take tomorrow off because of the massive amount of time we have been working. We need to get some rest, have fun, and be ourselves. On another note, perhaps it would be possible to go beyond eternal youth. Maybe it could be possible to obtain eternal life without becoming an undead being. This is definitely a thought to chew on. More research on this may be done in the future if permitted. Interestingly, after the blue orchid solution finished removing all flaws in my skin, no further affecting to be occurring, though I am still going to keep my eye out in case this changes. But I doubt that it will. In case I forgot, I'm writing the recipe down. Cogmabo. I've decided on wearing a blue orchid. Cogme. I'm not sure what that says. Cogmabo. I'm wearing a blue orchid in my hair to allow myself to have a way to quickly smell my favorite scent. Future research will be done on finding a way to use essence to prevent the effects of age into occur in the body. Tomorrow we shall still be resting No matter how hard I want to continue to work, I must rest so that I do not have to worry. I cannot continue to keep up this pace unless I manage to get rest every now and again. My body is going to get sick, even though there are ways to help prevent disease from occurring a page already of the time. Silver's Diary, Day 97. Today something amazing happened. It seems my research has caused me to earn another promotion. This, however, will be my last promotion because Archmages have decided to make me an Archmage. My training and research has finally paid off. This promotion will also cause the research to be considered an Archmage project, which will further increase the amount of materials we are able to obtain, as well as give us access to books that I couldn't obtain before. This shall drastically improve how quickly our research can develop. However, it is important to note that slums may still exist, which may eat up some of the time we can use for researching. The essence production using the new Nexus seems to be going well, and we have barely filled up a third of it. The amount of raw essence it can hold is much better than what the light Nexus can hold. It seems that according to our calculations, it holds a little more than 40 times the light Nexus. Sorry, viewers, I'm not sure if I actually was saying what I read, so I don't remember. Let me read this again just in case I didn't. Finally paid off. This promotion will also cause the research to be considered an Archmage project, which will further increase the amount of materials we are able to obtain, as well as give us access to books that I couldn't obtain before. This shall drastically improve how your research can develop. However, it is important that... Yeah, I did read that. My bad. Sorry, viewers. Silver's Diary, Day 100. Unfortunately, we have discovered that the essence being obtained from objects is not the best for our purpose. In fact, our research shows it may be nearly impossible to use the essence from the Nexus. On the other hand, it also shows that there should be a way to find a form of essence that can be used for a purpose. To obtain this knowledge, we have decided to trap a skeleton zombie or spider, since they are relatively easy to find at night. To prevent injuries to ourselves after we trap, we are going to tie them down so they won't be able to move while we conduct our tests to see if animals/animated beings have essence. If this turns out to be true, it will be great news. This is due to my new theory that essence is similar to life energy, and that the more essence a being has, the longer they live. I also think that if you can add more essence to a being, you should be able to extend the being's life. Silver's Diary, Day 105. Today I have exciting news to report. We have managed to catch a skeleton and disarm it. Our research of the skeleton has determined that the living/undead have essence inside. This is the best news we have gotten yet. If we can find a way to harness essence from creatures, there should be a way to reverse the process and place the essence into a creature. This would theoretically accomplish our goal. Further research will be required to figure out if it will be possible to take essence from living creatures. Silver's Diary, Day 107. Today I made plans for a new type of Nexus. I plan on calling it the Dark Nexus due to the dark nature of the experiment. During the experiment, we will be attempting to take essence directly from the skeleton we caught earlier. The new device will have to have an affinity to the darker earth. It will also need to be made of stronger materials than the Nexus so that we can build the structure strong enough to perform the process. The device needs to be strong enough to withstand the amount of pressure that may occur during the process. The red chalk that we researched earlier seems to be the type of chalk we need for the Dark Nexus. I'm grateful that we have been recording our research. Silver's Diary, Day 110. We have found a good material from which to make the focus. The focus is going to be made out of obsidian. It seems obsidian holds a good quantity of essence and is sturdy enough to handle the dark energies that will be flowing through during the test and actual use of the Dark Nexus. It also seems that obsidian has a dark property that will be beneficial to the process of concentration and extraction of essence from living life forms. We have found that it is now necessary to expand it, so we have added a couple of new rooms to the house. One of these rooms is the room we plan to construct the Dark Nexus in, and this is the case. We have already begun moving materials real good and heed to construct the final device. This device may end up being the strongest Nexus yet. We have also moved all the obsidian we currently have into the room, though I may need some more. Honestly, I feel kind of sorry for the skeleton, but it's just one of the many animated undead that try to kill people. The other room is a portal room. This room is where itself is building a portal to another realm. It is here where she is building an even bigger base so that cultivation and research can take place in case of an emergency or if we need more room. Hopefully we will not have to use the portal, but in case we do, it can be destroyed from the other side so that it will be closed on this side. This can prevent anyone following us, and it can also prevent natural disasters that cause damage to the base not to spread into the new realm. Self has also decided to keep the most recent copy of any research diaries, journals, and blueprints of our Nexi in the realm for safekeeping. I do have to admit she is being really through. Perhaps I will move my valuable possessions into the realm in case of any disasters that befall us. This way, anything precious to me will be with me here already. Even if I ever need to see my precious possessions, I will be able to just pop into the other room. It is good to always be prepared for the worst, even though it may not occur. Silver's Diary, Day 170. We have decided to look in the nether realm for material from which to build the Dark Nexus. The journey itself will probably be very long and dangerous due to the nether stark and fiery nature. It will also be dangerous because of the massive amounts of lava. This lava obstructs most progress in the realm. While we are there, we make sure to gather anything we think can be of use or value to us as well. This may prove useful in finding a way to reverse the process that the Dark Nexus will use to take essence from beings and put it inside of us. I was thinking that after we find a way to put essence from the Dark Nexus into our body, it may be easier to find a way to convert the essence found in the Nexus into our bodies as well. In other words, I'm trying to reverse the process of the regular Nexus after we figure out how to reverse the process of the Dark Nexus. The goal is to be able to extend our lifespans and reverse aging. Though this all depends on how successful our trip to the Nether will be, we shall head out after we finish gathering supplies. We estimate we will be entering the nether 2 days from now. Silver's Diary, Day 119. Today we have entered the nether. My first impression of it is that it is very red. The undead men that look like pigs, I think these are zombie pigmen, seem to be wandering the area. They seem to be passive. However, books mention that attacking them even by accident will cause all pigmen to attack you for quite a bit. Very similar to wolf packs in the wild. They all seem to be holding swords made of gold. Perhaps there is an abundance of gold in them somewhere. They obtain it somewhere else. But I think that it has been noted somewhere else before. I have heard there are many dangerous creatures in them, like the Hesate. I'm not sure how to pronounce that right. I hope we do not encounter a Hesate. Another hope was that the nearby environment is largely made up of a material called netherrack. In fact, the lighting for the realm is very strange. It's lit by a material known as glowstone. We have gathered some netherrack and glowstone so we can research it and use it in the future. Silver's Diary, Day 20. A gas attacked. Man, was it worse than I thought it would be. The thing would not stop blowing up the ground around us while trying to hit us, making it difficult to navigate the environment. The soil sand on the ground didn't help, as it was very difficult to move quickly through it. And another unfortunate event that occurred was Hesate being spotted. Luckily, we didn't think it spotted us, but it may try to get us during a time we are less on guard. It doesn't help that they can turn invisible. Silver's Diary, Day 121. We were ambushed by a group of Hesate. It was quite literally hell trying to get out of the situation that was presented. It took us quite a bit before they were all dispatched. After the ambush, we saw materials. We weren't quite sure what they were because they were so far away, but they looked different than netherrack. Perhaps it was a concentration of minerals or more soul sand, though it could be something else entirely. It would be difficult to cross the lava to try and find out what it was, so we continued on our path and came across a sort of building or fortress. Maybe this is a fabled nether fortress. We plan on exploring it tomorrow after we get inside the structure. Silver's Diary, Day 122. Today we entered the fortress. The material it was made out of was exactly what we were looking for. Nether bricks are perfect in strength, affinity to darkness, and essence quantity, as well as being able to pass a few other tests we ran, which won't be included in this video. This material will be taken back with us to our base. There are a few dangerous creatures that have made the fortress their home. Blazes are very dangerous but don't pose a major threat if you kill them before they spot you. They also drop an object called blaze rods, which we will be investigating for further uses. Another dangerous creature that was much worse than blaze that we found called wither skeletons. They seem to occasionally lose their heads and drop a few bones or some charcoal. If you kill them carefully, the heads will be studied to see if they have any uses for future research. Otherwise, it is simply a trophy that could be placed on the wall or something. We decided to begin the trek home from the nether with the vast quantities of materials we found, which include a strange plant that grows on soil sand called netherwort. We will grow some more of it at home. Silver's Diary, day 126. We have returned home from the Nether today. I'm very glad to see God run Force life after being in the Nether for a week or two. All three of us have been sorting the different materials and supplies we had obtained from more exploration. We will also be getting some rest before we begin the construction of the Dark Nexus. The plant life I was tending to us as a skeleton we were testing on or doing just fine, despite the fact that we were gone for so long and able to tend to them. This is good news, as we will be able to continue without any interruptions. I've decided to move as much of our plant life to the new realm as possible. Plant life will be much safer there. I also have begun the cultivation of netherite. It could become useful in the final processes of our research as well as any other research we decide to work on. Silver's Diary, day 131. Him friend Silver came up to me today. I found out that after the research finished, they would like to stay with me. I was overjoyed as I really had begun to consider them like a family more than I did my own family. I told them that they never had to have to leave no matter what, as they were always welcome to be with me. Another good thing that happened today was that we finished building the Dark Nexus. It seems to be running properly already. And we are prepared to conduct our first test tomorrow afternoon. The device itself seems extremely stable and with our calculations to determine how much essence it can hold. We estimate it will be able to hold about the same amount of essence the Nexus can hold. Silver's Diary, day 133. Our tests to convert creatures into essence have been successful. This is good news for us, as it means there probably is a way to reverse it, and we can send essence into living beings. So far, my theory is stable. The Dark Nexus, however, will not accept every creature converted into essence for some reason. My guess is that the creatures or the beings that can accept the essence from the next side due to the fact that there's no reason to take the essence. It would be easily understood if it was just sentient life or humans that couldn't be accepted. However, other powerful creatures can't be converted to essence either. This is my theory for now. Perhaps there is an underlying concept I am missing, or perhaps the creatures are sentient and we do not realize it. It is undetermined whether or not this could be beneficial, depending on whether or not it has any evidence to whether we can send essence into these beings. Further testing will be performed on creatures that can be converted into essence, so we can get more information on that. I put these on. Silver's Diary, day 136. We presented our creation of the Dark Nexus to the other Archmages at a tower today. Many of the other mages found it very interesting that we can convert many creatures, including the monsters that plague this land, into essence. We made sure to explain that this could have further ways if the machine could run off essence, thus it would give us a way to beneficially use the monsters that try to kill many different people. The Archmage community has begun to become very busy with this information, trying to sort, verify, and research the information. On another note, we have begun to construct all three nexi in the new realm, so we have a secondary set there. This will allow us to continue the research quickly in case one of the main three we have been using gets damaged or breaks. We have also made sure to transfer most of our materials into the realm in order to build more Nexi. That way we can quickly have access to them in case the ones in the realm break too. However, we doubt that the Nexi will break or be damaged any time soon, as they are very stealthy and we are being extremely careful not to damage them while we research essence. Self and Nymph have also moved any precious possessions of theirs to the realm as well for safety. They thought that was a good idea as well. Silver's Ivy, day 140. Although we have not made much progress in reversing the flow of essence, our research has been going along smoothly. We have begun to compose a list of known creatures that will be converted into essence and those who won't. I do not know if this will really be of any use later in our research, but it is useful to know so we can refill the darkness easily. Silver's Diary, day 146. I woke up this morning feeling a heavy I'm not sure what that says, coming from the town. It seems as though how much negative energy is flowing from the village. All of the villagers must be very upset in order to affect the man badly enough that a small black fog was created around the blue orchards outside. I wonder why they are so upset. Also, it seems that a cold and heavy storm is approaching from the north. Silver's Diary, day 145. It seems the storm is going to arrive tomorrow. I'm a little worried about the plants outside. The temperature in the clouds are very cold. You can find out will probably snow or hail. All three of us will much rather prefer a life-giving thunderstorm than this, but none of us know how to increase the temperature to cause it to be warm. On another note, Health has made me a beautiful gown to wear during her free time, and I am very excited with the gifts that Nymph has given me. A blue orchid that won't wither, so I can smell tomorrow of the time of the year. I want to give them something as a thank, but I have no idea what they would like to receive. Silver's Diary, day 146. When I woke up, it was hailing, but I put on my gifts anyways. After breakfast this time, we received a knock on the door. A small group of archmages, each in their casual clothes instead of their robes, were at the door. Most of them looked heavily exhausted, as though they ran here instead of teleporting. They told us we had to get out of town as quickly as possible, as the villagers were going to come to the house to destroy the base, as well as try to kill us in 2 days. They explained that two of them were relaxing at a cafe in town the other day, and they began to discuss the darkness and how it works. One of the villagers overheard their supplication and were extremely concerned, and soon a rumor had developed that we were all going to summon a monster called the Dark Nexus to eat all their livestock, gather energy, as well as destroy their houses in the process. The villagers had decided to prepare to attack us as soon as they thought that they were ready, and they didn't care what happened in the process. They would attack first and ask questions. The archmages offered to help us gather our stuff and leave. Nymph and that they didn't need to, as we could get out of town by the end of the day with everything we needed and that was precious. Luckily, we were prepared for a disaster and had built an emergency portal. However, I never really wanted to have to use it in an emergency, but I guess things just didn't play out that way. Most of my stuff is already over on the other side of the portal, and Sylph and Nymph have everything over there already. So they told me to take a break to get some rest. I, in turn, decided to write my final entry in this diary before I crossed through the portal and Sylph and Nymph destroyed, trapping us on the other side. Where your time travel is much slower than it does here. It's something like a day here and an hour there. Our base is nearly completely devoid of plant life and sound, except for the frantic steps of Sylph pacing while she tries to remember where she put the key to the storage rooms on the other side. I've decided to leave this diary in the ward with the Archmage in their tower, as we won't be able to see them again. It is fine to tell them everything that actually happened and where I was truly researching. When I finish writing, I will teleport the diary sheet through the tower and walk through the portal into a tomb for quite a while, if ever. This is goodbye to anyone who happens to be reading my diary. Sincerely, Sylvia. Okay, that was pretty good for the first episode, although this was really long. I couldn't have done it better myself. I don't really know what to say other than that was good. And also, you actually can create nexuses. Like, this is the dark nexus. Remember nether bricks and obsidian? I know I have a light nexus somewhere. I know I have another type of nexus somewhere. Is it? I'm pretty sure over here. Yeah. Right here, even though it didn't use the same materials. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Goodbye.